What's good? What's good? What's good? And happy 2021 to everybody. It's Sports Talk America. It's your boy, Mr. Franchise, aka ThatDude.com. As you can tell, that franchise, aka the greatest sports analyst to ever bless the sports waves. Welcome to the Nothing But Sports Show on NBS Central Radio. With me tonight, my co-host, my guy from Texas, but he's originally from Rain, Louisiana. My guy, Justin. Everybody, what's good, Justin?
What's going on, man? I'm representing Texas tonight, representing the NBS championship. If those of y'all who don't know, fantasy football 2020 NBS champion, just in case y'all forgot. But I'm glad to be back. I'm glad that you're back. You know, we both kind of took a week off, get our heads straight. We got things going on, but I'm glad we're back. It's got a good sports week this week, man. So I got a lot to talk about.
Real quick, before we jump into these topics, I just want to let everyone know there's an asterisk behind Justin's belt. We went through a pandemic where players were not able to play due to certain circumstances. And I felt like Justin.
That makes it the hardest year ever to win.
I feel like for some odd reason, there's an asterisk behind that belt. But it's all good. We're going to run this back next year. And just know that belt is coming to Maryland. So just be able to pack it and send it to Maryland. Okay?
No.
Man, let's jump into these topics, man. So tonight we're definitely going to talk about UFC 257. We're going to get into some NBA. But first, I really want to get into this NFL. Man, we had a great divisional round. Wild card weekend was pretty good. The divisional round was really good. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a great championship weekend. So, opening topic. Saints lose to the Buccaneers 30-20. Okay, in New Orleans. I want to know, Justin, in your opinion, who's to blame for the Saints divisional round playoff loss?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's hard to beat a good team, a playoff team, 3 times in 1 year, especially when that team is led by the GOAT, Tom Brady. This guy is not an amateur. This guy knows what he's doing. I think this is his 14th championship game that he's going into next week. So he knows what he's doing when it comes to the playoffs. So at the end of the day, I mean, I think Drew Brees, as sad as as I say, as I can think about it, he's one of my favorite players of all time. I got him hanging up behind me, but his arm just doesn't look like it used to. You know, we've had this for the last 2 years. It's something that we've kind of tried to overlook because he is one of the greatest of all times. But at the end of the day, you can't just keep throwing passes to Kamara, 20 times a game. You got to get it downfield, and Drew Brees couldn't get it done. I hate seeing him go down like that, but I got to put the loss on Drew Brees, man.
I'm gonna go a different direction. So, yes, there were 4 turnovers. Brees threw 3 picks. Out of those 3 picks, one of them was his fault. Clear as day, his fault. Like, It was blatantly obvious it was his fault. But everybody else, it touched your hand, or you weren't even looking, and it tipped you, or you wasn't paying attention. And then on top of that, Michael Thomas. They paid you $20 million, and you get 0 catches in the NFC divisional round, and then you come out on Tuesday talking about you're undergoing surgery, which I understand. Look, bro, I'm sorry. At the end of the day, if you're hurt, stay out, man. Don't hurt the team. We can't, like, I know everyone wants to blame Drew for the loss. It's not all his fault. Like he had 3 picks. Two of those, let's be honest. Jared Cook, Jared Cook should have caught one of them.
Mm-hmm.
The second pick was off of it was when Kamara wasn't looking. And then the third one, Drew did throw dead in dude's hands. I mean, that was clear as day obvious, right? And then Jared Cook, you catch the ball, you fumble. You fumble. Like, that hurt. Like that, and that drive could have sealed it. And now think about this. 4 turnovers, 3 of them lead to touchdowns. You lose by 10. You can't put it all on Drew. Yes, we all know Drew's shoulders pretty much done. His ribs is done. I get it. There's only so much the defense can do. But, bro, there's only so much. Hey, man, when you're a star, Michael Thomas, you're a star player. Alvin Kamara, you're a star player. Hey, Emmanuel Sanders, you've been there before. Jared Cook, hey, bro, you've been in the league. You've been playing football since you was a kid. Hey, man, you put the ball comes in your hand, I'm sorry, you catching it. If it touches your hands, you catching it. I'm sorry. Ugh.
But you could say the same thing about, because there was a pass that was dropped in the end zone by Tampa. So those things happen. I mean, so they could have got points off of that open catch in the end zone. So for you to blame somebody for not making a catch, I mean, at least Tom Brady was throwing it deep in the end zone.
But Justin,
they had to get Jameis Winston to throw a deep pass because Drew Brees could not.
But Justin, it's one thing to throw a pass and miss the catch and it's incomplete. Bro, it's another when the ball's on your hand, you tip it or hits your arm, and then it leads to an interception. And I'm gonna be honest with you, if I was an NFL QB, I would rally for those not to count as picks. I would rally to count those as actual like turnovers by the offensive player. But that's neither here nor there. That's just me being selfish. Okay? Let's move right along. So, next topic, and this is, all the New Orleans fans want to know, should Drew Brees retire?
This is tough. This I mean, I know I just blamed him for the loss just now, and I still stand behind that. And I hate to see him go because he's one of the greatest. And whether you're a Saints fan or not, if you're an NFL fan, you have to feel sorry for Drew Brees. In the last probably 5 years, every year seems like they count him out. They have a great season. They make it to the playoffs. They're favored to win, and something happens. Now this year, that something was himself. But every year is a disappointment for him. And I hate to see his career go out like that. I've always been a big fan of people going out on top. And I wish that, he could be one of those quarterbacks to go out on top, like a John Elway, those, Peyton Manning, those kind of players who get to go out on top. Because it's heartbreaking, to go through those cracked ribs and COVID, through the big controversy he had this year with his whole locker room going against him and him having to win him back. I mean, he had a really, really tough year. And for him to go out like this on pure talent, it's tough. It's tough to see. But at the end of the day, the Saints need to move on. They need to find that quarterback of the future. I think they really hurt themselves by not getting that quarterback of the future and being able to coach him up to be ready for next year. Because at the end of the day, Taysom Hill is not that dude. Like I love Taysom Hill, and I think Taysom Hill was one of the reasons why they lost. I think if he'd have been in the game, things could have been differently. They could have, they used Taysom Hill really, really, really well. That could have been a difference maker. But he's not a starting quarterback. He is not a quarterback that I think with that roster who has a great defense, hopefully a healthy wide receiver corp next year and Alvin Kamara, I think they still could be a playoff team if they had the right quarterback. And I don't think Taysom Hill's that quarterback. And the fact that they gave up on Jameis Winston like they did, I don't see him resigning. I wouldn't resign if I were him. I mean, I came to your organization to do the Teddy Bridgewater deal, to be a backup, show that I still got it, and then get a big contract. And what did you do? You bitched me for a third stringer. So no, I ain't coming back for you. So I see them really struggling next year. They don't have a high draft pick, so unless they go out and get, I don't know, a Mitchell Trubisky or Foles or I don't know, somebody that nobody wants, Carson Wentz, which I don't think they can afford. But if they go that route, they're not getting Watson, so that's just not going to happen. But I think it sucks. I hate to see it, but it's time for Drew Brees to get in that broadcast booth and show off that pretty scar that he has.
Oh man. Here's my take on it. Okay. Do I think it's time for Drew Brees to retire? As much as I don't want it to happen, but everybody's time occurs. Everyone has their time, their moment. I think it is time for him to retire. I think that it's just time, man. I mean, you can't really get the ball off the way you want to. The injuries are piling up. Hey, man, Father Time is undefeated. Don't be Tom Brady. We don't know what Tom Brady's putting in his body to survive this long. I mean, just do your due diligence and just let it go. In terms of the quarterback situation, I think, and this is just my opinion, had COVID not knocked out majority of the team's training camps, excuse me, if there was a regular training camp, I personally believe in my heart of hearts, I think that Jameis Winston would have been number 2 easily, and Jameis would have picked up this offense, and I think he can flourish if he gets a full offseason to actually run through plays with the first team and actually learn and actually do things and not be a gimmick guy. Now, granted, he's probably learned quite a bit from Drew in his first year, and he's probably learned quite a bit from Taysom Hill and Sean Payton. But at the end of the day, he needs an offseason. I don't think Taysom Hill's the answer. If you're gonna do anything, I think you should stick with Jameis. And if you stick with Jameis, I think you'll go far. I think you could do some things because at least your offensive line is decent. At least you got certain pieces of the puzzle. Now, here's what the problem is going to hurt the Saints. What's going to hurt the Saints is that depending on how bad the cap is going to be next season, they might have to make some very tough decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, this might have been it. I mean, and if it's not it, if they're barely a playoff team, it's only because they outsmarted the cap. But if that cap comes down way more than what is expected, because what I'm hearing, the cap is supposed to drop over 25%. It might be it. Because I don't see any way that you're going to be able to keep Kamara, Thomas, and try to re-sign Lattimore and re-sign Ramczyk and keep personnel on the defensive end, Hendrickson and Alex Anzio and Demario Davis and those guys. It's going to be very tough. So in the end, should Drew retire? Yeah, I do think so. I mean, it frees up the cap, a major part of the cap. But then also they got to think to themselves, let's give Jameis a chance.
Would you resign if you were Jameis Winston?
Yes, and here's why. What's your next option?
Well, the thing is,
you want to go to Cincinnati?
Sean
and be Joe Burrow?
Sean Payton has already showed that he doesn't trust him. That he went to Taysom Hill when Drew Brees was down.
But Taysom Hill's been in this offense 3 years, 4 years by now?
Not playing quarterback.
Right, but he's been the second string guy the whole time. Second, third string guy the whole time. What it boils down to is experience. I personally think Jameis is the better quarterback, right? But Jameis never had a full offseason with the Saints. Taysom has had 3 off seasons with the Saints. 3. That's why he got the look. Not because he's the better quarterback. He just got the experience. That's it.
Are you saying Jameis Winston led the league in passing yards the year before coming to the Saints?
But he also had ESPN 30 for 30.
But he had
an ESPN 30 for 30.
He's an experienced starting quarterback in the NFL versus a third string who got cut by the Green Bay Packers, who drafted him in the 7th round.
So
and you explain to me why he was the better option?
Okay. Am I going to go with a guy that understands my offense or a guy that just threw an ESPN 30 for 30? I'm not
saying it's the wrong decision. I'm saying if I'm Jameis Winston, I don't have confidence that you're going to go to me.
But guess what? I wouldn't even do that if I was Jameis, because you could go to Cincinnati and make a ton of bread and then get killed. You could go to the Jacksonville Jaguars, make a ton of bread and get killed. You could stay in New Orleans. You could be one of the top backup QBs, if not a guy that could fight for a starting job and learn and continue to learn the offense. And just know the second Taysom Hill, if Taysom Hill starts, because you got a good chance to win it. Because I think this is my opinion, I think Jameis Winston would eat in this offense. He would simply eat in this offense. In Tampa, they never gave him the offensive line that New Orleans has. Ever. And mind you, did Jameis Winston ever have a 1,000-yard rusher? No. I'm saying it would make sense for him to stay. Stay, you compete for it. You know you can win it because you're the better passer. Give it a full offseason. That's how I look at it.
We'll see.
All right, let's move right along, man, because we could go into this all night. So, is it Lamar Jackson's fault for the Ravens' loss to the Buffalo Bills?
I'm going to say no, because, I mean, he is who we thought he was. I mean, he's not a pure quarterback, but at the end of the day, the Baltimore Ravens have not given him the personnel needed to compete for a championship in Baltimore. I mean, when you got Josh Allen being gifted Stephon Diggs in his offense, we all saw what he could do with it once he got a weapon.
And Cole Beasley, keep going.
Cole Beasley's he's nice.
He's nice. Dak Prescott would take him back right about now. But keep going.
But he was given that.
He's modern day Julian Edelman.
Okay. And Juliana was nice.
Keep going, Justin. Man, you getting disrespectful tonight, man.
My point is, and you're making my point also is that Buffalo is being given weapons, and Baltimore offensively has not been given weapons. That there's no clear cut number one wide receiver that you can rely on when time gets rough. You can throw him the ball and he's gonna get the ball. He doesn't have that. So I mean, and I don't want to hear nobody get on here and talk about Dez Bryant because he's trash. He's over the hill. He wasn't trash back then, but this is 2020. This is not 1995. So, but he has nobody there that he can throw the ball to. So like he he can only do what he can do. That's why he has to rush the ball, and that's what that's why he's 1,000-yard rusher, because he really there's a lot of times where he has nobody to throw the ball to. He can't do it on his own. They need to give him some help. Hopefully they see that next year that he can get some help. And he finally got over that hump of that 0-2 in the playoffs that everybody hung all over him. He finally won a playoff game, so I think it's a stepping stone. I think next year will be a year where we actually see if he can take that next step to being a great quarterback and a championship quarterback.
Okay, you ready?
You about to blast him.
Oh, I'm blasting them bad. Lamar Jackson has terrible mechanics. Lamar Jackson throws knuckleballs for passes. I'm sorry, bro. This is Lamar Jackson's fault. Hollywood Brown was a star last year. Mark Andrews, good tight end. Okay. Yes, you had 3 running backs. You had Dez Bryant, he's over the hill. I get it. But, bro, you had Willie Snead, pretty decent wide receiver. What I'm trying to get across is that if you look at his mechanics, they're not that great. And then the offensive coordinator was blasted because he has like a rinky-dink elementary school offense. It's terrible. Ooh, excuse me. To me, and this is just my personal opinion, I think Lamar needs to improve. Lamar needs to do his due diligence and improve ASAP. And it's hurt. Here, this is the part we call quarterback maturation. All right? He needs to go and see one of the greats, like Aaron Rodgers, a Tom Brady. Drew Brees is, more than likely going to retire. Go see Drew for an off season. Go see a Ben, whoever, but go see somebody where you can work on your mechanics, where you can learn how to drive the ball in, where you can throw tighter spirals, where you can see defenses a little bit differently, where like you're not depending upon your legs to win games. Bruh, Michael Vick he's Michael Vick all over again. And Michael Vick got to a Super Bowl. No, wait. No, he didn't. Sorry. He did not. Sorry. My apologies. And he never got to a Super Bowl. So maybe it's time for us to say, hey, man, if you're a quarterback, quarterbacks pass first and take off second. It's time for you to start learning how to pick defenses apart, to learn how to break coverages. Aaron Rodgers said it the best. That running quarterback, the RPO, it's a fad. Eventually, they're going to have to learn how to throw the football, how to break a cover 2, where's the weak spots in the cover 3, okay? And a 3-step drop, what's your hot read? Things of that nature. If he's not doing that, then he's failing. I'm slamming Lamar on this. It's time for him to grow up. It's time for him to go. Look, in the offseason, look, man, go sit behind a veteran. It's time for you to go sit behind a veteran and learn and see what they see and pick it apart. Pick the game apart. Go see Peyton Manning. Bro, go see Peyton. If he go see Peyton, hey, bro, I'm sorry. I think he'll be an animal. It's Lamar's fault, man. I'm sorry. Y'all can say it's the fact they didn't put pieces around him. Hey man, y'all about to pay Lamar Jackson about $30 to $40 million a year. Hey, before you give him that contract, you need to tell him, hey, we give you this contract, you're gonna see a veteran. Straight up.
But before Lamar Jackson, with Joe Flacco, the Ravens were I mean, they won a Super Bowl, but years afterward they were trash. Lamar Jackson has got them back into being contenders every year. So I would not hold his contract for anything.
But
I know he hasn't won a championship for them, but the fact that he keeps them as contenders every single year, they've made the playoffs for the last 3-4 years.
right,
Jackson.
but
So
Justin, Flacco, Joe Flacco. We're talking about Joe Flacco now. Okay. Joe Flacco was a pure QB. He picked teams apart in his when he was before he aged off. Joe Flacco was not that bad of a QB. Now, granted, in his Super Bowl, in the Super Bowl runs and whatnot, he had to have like an Anquan Bolden and others in order to win games. But Joe Flacco picked teams apart, and he did make receivers somewhat better. So to me, I think there's levels to this. Okay, you can win the MVP because it's a regular season award, but can you win playoff games when the game matters, when they've taken away your first option, which is running the football, and or you taking off and run? Can you do it? Can you make the read saying, hey, look, I see a blitz coming. Check. Can he do it? Because right now, I'm going to be honest with you. They're running the elementary school offense. Run the play, we'll deal with it on the next play. That's all they're doing. He makes no reads. It's just, I just see maturity. And I'm not saying from a standpoint that he's not a mature person. He needs to mature as a quarterback. He needs to take that next step.
But there's been plenty of quarterbacks who made a lot of money off it and never winning the championship. I mean, Matt Ryan, Matthew Stafford. I mean, these guys who have what you say you want him to have, but yet they have not accomplished anything. So the fact that Lamar Jackson keeps them relevant every single year, year after year, has he not made the playoffs as a starting quarterback?
He has.
His first year?
Yeah.
Okay. But after that, has made it every single year. And now he's making a stepping stone that he's actually won a game. So, I mean, he is progressing. I think, he's going in the right direction. Give the guy a chance.
Justin, you've been a Lamar Jackson fan since he was in.
I have not.
That's the only reason I'm giving. I got to give him smoke because QB's got to be able to throw the ball, man, and they got to be able to pick apart defenses, exotic or.
You got to give him somebody to throw to.
But you got to know how you got to know how to get it to these guys. If they give him a DeAndre Hopkins and I don't know Amari Cooper on the same team, he got to be able to throw it to him.
Because if
you can have great
the final four teams
don't know how to deliver the ball, then what good is it?
If you look at the final four teams playing right now, each one of them has elite wide receiver corps.
But they're all elite quarterbacks.
Because they have somebody to throw it to.
Tom Brady's been elite since we were in high school.
Josh Allen was not elite until this year, until he got what? An elite wide receiver.
That's a young cat. Tom Brady has been elite since we've been in high school. Aaron Rodgers has been elite for at least the last 10 years.
But we're talking about the team that beat him, the Buffalo Bills, who
if not
didn't have an elite quarterback until he got an elite wide receiver.
Pat Mahomes has been doing it with Ty Hill, who was like a second or third round pick, and then Travis Kelce, who was like a second or third round pick himself, and no name guys. At some point, you got to be able to sling that rock. Pat Mahomes is slinging the rock. Josh Allen can sling. Josh Allen's actually really good, by the way. Weapons or not, he's really good. And his ascension was coming. Excuse me. All right, let's move to the next topic. So, should Cleveland fans see this season as a disappointment or an accomplishment? Now, mind you, Cleveland has made it, they made it to the playoffs for the first time in over 20 years. And, they did get a great playoff win versus the Steelers. So should they consider this a success or a failure?
Yeah, this is a failure. At the end of the day, you play to win a championship. And how many opportunities are you going to have to be playing arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks? By the time he finishes his career, we will name Patrick Mahomes as one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. How many opportunities are you going to have to go up against Kansas City on the road, have a chance to win the game, fumble in the end zone, then Patrick Mahomes gets hurt, and you play a backup quarterback, and you have an opportunity to beat down the world champions and make it to the AFC Championship? There are teams. We just discussed Drew Brees. We see how hard it is to make it back to an NFC Championship game or an AFC Championship game. We see how hard it is to get there. This guy is one of the greatest ever to play the game, Drew Brees, and he can't get back there. So you don't know if there'll ever be an opportunity like that again. And yes, I know. I mean, if you're that sorry of a franchise, and you think one playoff win is an accomplishment, then I don't have nothing for you, because that is not an accomplishment. You won't have those opportunities again. Baker Mayfield may look back 5 years from now and say, I had a chance to make it to the Super. Because honestly, if they beat Kansas City, they have a really good shot against Buffalo. A really good shot. They have a fighter's chance to make it to the Super Bowl.
You're
not going to get those opportunities again against Kansas City. Kansas City handed you an opportunity to beat them, and you couldn't take it. So this is not a success. Sorry.
Let me break this down to you, okay? And I think, we're like, I'm gonna look at this from an unbiased perspective. All right. And Justin, you know this firsthand. Being a Saints fan, we used to have to wear paper bags over our head at one point. And we were the laughing stock of the league. And here's the Browns, who were the Browns. Then they moved to Baltimore. Then they bring back the Browns, and they're still terrible. And you haven't made the playoffs in 20 years. 20 years. This season, you had Odell go down. You had multiple COVID-related incidences. You were going into a couple games without your head coach, your assistant head coach, your defensive coordinator. You were going in like blind leading the blind. And you still pulled off some W's. I think this is a win. I think you got to build off of this. Think about it. If you've never made the playoffs in 25 years, see, again, Saints fan, I remember those days. And now, granted, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, these last couple years with Drew has been lovely. I ain't gonna front. It's been love. It's been love. You know this, and I know this. He gave us hope. But you can't forget about where we were before. Saints fans, remember, Aaron Brooks, Wade Wilson, Jeff Blake, Mario Bates,
Bobby Hebert.
baby. Bobby Ager, Mario Bates, aka I start off the season doing well for 5 games, and then just now he's in Piggly Wiggly, filling up the meat market. I'm sorry, bro. Like I remember when we were terrible. So when I see the Browns finally get the hint and finally catch some fire, I have no choice but to respect it and say they're up to something. They're building something. Now, I'm not going to say oh my God, they're the Saints. They're going to be the Saints in 3 years. I'm not going to say that, but I'm going to say it's a W because you finally got to the playoffs and you got a playoff win. Something that hasn't been done again in over 20-something years. If you're a Browns fan, you should be like jumping for joy.
At the end of the day, as a Saints fan, you look back and you remember the NFC Championship game against the Rams, the woulda, coulda, shouldas. We never ever will get back to that. Well, not anytime soon. We'll get back to that. So,
but it's one thing. But think about this, Justin. With the exception of maybe 2 years, right? We were a playoff team. As a Saints fan, we were a playoff caliber team. And the last 4 years, we were a Super Bowl contender. If you're looking at the Browns, they've never even Super Bowl in Cleveland. That's a laughing stock. That's something to laugh about. Like, these dudes made the playoffs for the first time in 20 plus years. Like, if I was a Cleveland Browns fan, I'm just happy. I'm ecstatic because there's room for growth. And oh, by the way, you're getting Odell Beckham back next year. No. You're going to get Jarvis Landry back next year.
They need to drop Odell Beckham.
Huh?
I think they're proving that they can win without him, that he's toxic.
They're not dropping him.
If I'm Cleveland, I'm dropping him. But that's another story for another day.
Okay. Going on to the next topic. Who has the best shot of an upset in the championship games? Out of the 2 road teams, Buffalo or Tampa Bay?
This is a tough one because I know I'm we're gonna go through the picks later on in the show.
Hey, real quick, can you turn on my video real quick? Keep going. Just turn on my video. I'm gonna just be right back.
Turn on your video?
Off.
I don't think you can. I don't know how to.
Oh, shoot. Well, keep going. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. At the end of the day, I'm picking the Green Bay Packers to beat Tampa Bay. We both know earlier in the season they really stomped Green Bay. Tom Brady did, but I just don't see that happening in the playoffs. Now, Buffalo, it all depends on if Patrick Mahomes plays. If Patrick Mahomes does not play, not only do I think that Buffalo could upset Kansas City, I think they will upset Kansas City because I think Kansas City Chiefs, everything rides with Patrick Mahomes. He is the greatest player on the field, and without him, Chad Henne is not going to do any magic. I know Patrick Mahomes tweeted after the game, there's a Henne magic, whatever it was. But, yeah, they're not going to win against Buffalo with Chad Henne. So I think with this question, it's one of those things where if Patrick Mahomes plays, I think Tampa Bay has a better chance to upset. If Patrick Mahomes does not play, then I definitely think it's Buffalo.
All right. So here's my take on this, okay? I think that both teams have an awesome opportunity of pulling off the upset. Excuse me, and this is why. Both teams have – I look at both teams, right? They both played – so Buffalo played Kansas City in the regular season. They lost. Tampa Bay played Green Bay, and they won, and they actually dominated Green Bay. Like it was it was pretty bad. With the only thing that kind of scares me a little bit is the fact that yes, it's home field advantage. You're going up against two guys that, you know, Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay is just electric. Um, Pat Mahomes in Kansas City is lights out. But with Pat Mahomes, his offensive line has shown that they cannot protect him. And Buffalo's defensive line is sick. And like they will take away your best option. Like if they're gonna blitz, like they don't have to blitz four guys. Like they can send four and it's a problem. And then remember, Buffalo's corners are actually really good. Tre'Davious White is really, really good. Him versus Tyreek Hill might be a great matchup this upcoming weekend. And in cold weather games, because both are going to be cold weather games, you got to depend on the run. And if I'm Tampa Bay, I'm going to sit my starting running back out because he's injury prone, and I'm gonna sit him out for practices, and I'm gonna just keep his hammy ready because if he could carve up Green Bay quick. Actually, I think Tampa can carve those guys up quick. On the Buffalo side, if Buffalo could get a good lead and carve up that Kansas City defense, it could get ugly. It could very easily get ugly. So I think both teams, both Tampa and Buffalo, have great chances to win. Their defenses have to play stellar, and they have to be able to get to both Mahomes and Rodgers. Rodgers will be a little bit more tricky, but Mahomes is and they bet, man, if Chad Henning's playing, I'm telling you right now, Buffalo's going to the Super Bowl. Like Buffalo's going to the Super Bowl, they're going to win one for Jim Kelly. That's just what it is. Justin likes that. He likes that.
I agree.
He likes that. Damn, Justin, you took your hat off. You took your hat off and told me you like that. That's good. I like it. I like it. So let's move right along. So of all the coaching, the new head coaching hires in the NFL, which one surprised you the most?
At first, we're looking at new hires. I was kind of surprised by Dan Campbell, former Saints assistant coach and tight ends coach, being hired to be the head coach of the Detroit Lions. I was kind of surprised by that hire. I didn't see him as being one of the highly sought after head coaches in the NFL. But the one I'm most surprised about is Urban Meyer. Reason being, he has been in the conversation with a lot of teams in the last 2 to 3 years for head coaches. And he pretty much, every time a new head coaching job came along, he had the opportunity to get that job. Most people put his name in the hat, and he just, especially in like Dallas, his name was really, called a lot when it came to the Dallas job. And I thought if he would take a job out there, I thought it would be the Dallas job. And if he didn't take that one, then, he just wasn't coming to the NFL. Because, with the Dallas job, he had everything handed to him. He had a quarterback there. He had a great running back, wide receiver core, defensive suspect. But at the end of the day, in that division, if you have a decent head coach and that quarterback, that division can easily be won. For him to go to Jacksonville is kind of suspect for me, because now his success will be linked directly to whoever he picks at number one, which everyone assumes will be Trevor Lawrence. So his success in Jacksonville really will be on Trevor Lawrence's arm. So I think him picking the Jacksonville Jaguars, even with their decent quarterback Trevor Lawrence, they have a lot of holes. They got rid of a lot of players this year. trading away, um, dropping. They have a lot of holes in their team. So I just don't think he could just pick it up and be successful there in Jacksonville. I thought he had better opportunities with other teams to get in there and be successful. So that was my biggest surprise was Urban Meyer going to Jacksonville. What about you?
I'm gonna go a different direction. I actually like the Urban Meyer pickup. I like Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell is long overdue. I mean, if you heard anything about him, he's like a really great motivator, and he's a great he's not like he's pretty good with the X's and O's. So he's gonna have to have a really good staff around him. But he's like a mastermind and great motivator when it comes to building team chemistry. The one that I'm very surprised about is Brandon Staley going to the Chargers. And I'm gonna throw one more out there. Brandon Staley's was the defensive coordinator for the Rams. He was really good, like really good. He was one of the linebackers coaches under Wade Phillips, and he just inherited a great defense. But on top of that, like the defense was really, really good. But the problem is in for LA, for the Chargers, they need an offensive mind, like an upgraded offensive genius. And Brandon Staley's not the guy. Unless he's going to bring in an offensive coordinator that's going to light it up and like take Justin Herbert, who did play well this year, who probably will not win the NFL.
I'll be expecting my boudin at my front porch ASAP. Get my address.
We'll talk about this offline. So Justin Herbert's a really good quarterback. You got to build off of that. Your defense is going to be – the defense is what it is. I mean, you got Joey Bosa locked up. You got some bookends, Joey Bosa and oh my God, and it's a couple other really good young Ingram and a couple other really, really good talented guys on the defensive side. The problem is you got to take that offense and take it to a whole nother level. And with Justin Herbert being your pretty much a franchise guy, it's time. Like you got to put an offensive genius around him. Now, who is it going to be? I don't know who the offensive coordinator is going to be, but I felt like Brandon Staley was not a good idea. Now, I'm going to throw something else out there. I am shocked that Eric Bieniemy has not been hired yet, and I don't know why Houston is tiptoeing and lollygagging, for a greater term or a better term, with this hire, because this is who Deshaun Jackson wants. This is the guy who will make your offenses better. I mean, y'all keep messing around. He's just going to stay in KC and keep
does he want to go to
some change.
What does he want to go to Houston? Because I wouldn't want to go to Houston.
Why not?
They have one of the worst cap spaces in the whole NFL. They have no draft picks, and they have a quarterback who wants out. You tell me, and an ownership that players do not want to play for. So you tell me what is so attractive about the Houston Texans organization right now.
Deshaun Watson, and if you get Deshaun. Because Deshaun wants Bieniemy. So it might take him 2 years to get out of that Bill O'Brien crap. But when you do, you'll be better for it. And for the record, they don't have that bad of a cap space. I think J.J. Watt is going to move. And I think they're going to free up some kind of space to get somebody in there to throw to Deshaun Watson. Put your hat back on, man.
I'm gonna put my rally hat for you. Maybe you can come up with something good, because right now it's all bad. I need that rally hat.
Cold-blooded. All right, so let's go ahead into our championship Sunday football picks, shall we? So, first game we got up, we got Tampa Bay traveling to Green Bay to take on Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Who we got?
I know in the middle of the season, Tampa stomped the Green Bay Packers. That was Aaron Rodgers' worst game by a mile. Really, his only bad game by a mile. It's not going to happen again. Aaron Rodgers is a bad man, and it's in Green Bay. Of course, you don't have the stadium full because that always helps, but it's still in Green Bay. It's supposed to be cold. Talking about possible snow. I see Aaron Rodgers um, taking down Tom Brady. Um, I think it's going to be like a 34-21 game, Green Bay. And it's sad to see because this year could be the first year in NFL history. If Tampa Bay could upset Green Bay, it would be the first time in NFL history that the Super Bowl will be held at one of the team stadiums.
Since the Dolphins.
It happened with the Dolphins?
It's the undefeated Dolphins.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, and of course it'll be a season where there's hardly any fans there, so there's no home field advantage. But it's not going to happen. Green Bay's going to beat Tampa. I'm booking that. It's going to be a good 34-21 game, Green Bay.
Oh man, this is going to be one of the hardest picks hands down because, I mean, as much as I love Aaron Rodgers and what Aaron Rodgers can do, I'm looking at Tom Brady and I'm like, it's Tom Brady time, man. This is where Brady wins games right here. This is what you pay Brady to do. Aaron is great in his own right. And I think that if Aaron Rodgers loses this game, this is going to be the beginning of the end of Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay because they're going to bring the young rookie up come next year, slowly but surely. But if he wins this game, Aaron Rodgers continues along his amazing career accordingly as a starter. If Tom Brady wins this game, I ain't gonna front, man. It's pretty much like you can't even deny it. Like it's almost gonna be etched in stone that this dude is the GOAT. And yeah, if they lose, I think he's not going to be much affected. I think he'll want to come back for one more. I like both teams. I do. And how they're built. I just think that in the end, if I had to trust somebody, I would trust Tampa Bay because Tampa's weapons make clutch catches. Whereas Green Bay, outside Devontae Freeman, they make good catches, but they also drop a lot of passes. Tampa's defense is starting to come around at the right time. Green Bay's defenses came around, but I don't think that they're going to be ready for Tampa. I got Tampa winning this game.
Wow.
And it's coming down to Brady's arm. I'm going to call it 28-24. Tampa Bay goes to Super Bowl. I don't want to, as much as I can't hate on Tom Brady, but by God, this is what they're paying for. This is what they're paying for. Next game we got up. We got the Buffalo Bills, led by Josh Allen, heading to Kansas City to take on Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Who we got?
Like I said earlier, it really depends on whether or not Patrick Mahomes is cleared to play. I think he will play, um, and if he does, I think it'll be a close game. Um, I think Kansas City just has too many weapons to not win this game with Patrick Mahomes. I still think it's going to be a pretty low scoring game, though. I think it would be a 20-14 game. But I think if Patrick Mahomes doesn't play, Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs are going to eat. And that defense is going to eat. And Chad Henne is going to throw 3 interceptions at least. If Mahomes doesn't play, I think Buffalo will win 17-7. I think if Patrick Mahomes plays, I think it's gonna be a 20-14 game.
I think Mahomes plays. As much as I want to see Buffalo get to the Super Bowl, and it would be so great for that city. You know what? No, I'm a go on a limb. I'm a really go on a limb on this. No, you know what? No, I'm gonna stay safe. Patrick Mahomes plays, which he will. It's setting up for Mahomes boy versus TB12 Super Bowl, and it's going to be star-studded. I think KC wins this game 24, no, 30, 31 to 23. I just, something's telling me the defending Super Bowl champ versus the GOAT. I just have a feeling that Kansas City versus Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl is going to be fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll give me a reason to watch the Super Bowl outside of watching Murder She Wrote. All right, let's move right along into some NBA, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shoot, sorry. Trying to get my topics back.
Are the Nets now the favorite to win the title now that they got James Harden?
Hell no. Hell no. Not no bueno. Hell no. I don't know how to say in Japanese, no. I don't know how to say in Australia. No, mate. Jamaican, no, man. No, it's not happening. You cannot look. At the end of the day, you're putting 3 dudes on a team that can't defend, that want to shoot. And when it's going to come down, who's going to take the last shot? And oh, by the way, they all head cases in their own right. It's not going to work. And James Harden's out of shape. I'm sorry, bro. It's not working. No. To win a title? No. Maybe win the East. But win the title? No. If they got to see LeBron, they're getting checked out quick. Like quick.
I think they are the favorite to win the title now.
What?
You have Harden coming in, and you said he's out of shape. Maybe you haven't seen him play in Brooklyn yet because he lost the fat suit. He's no longer fat Harden. He's skinny Harden now. He finessed the league. He finessed me, you, everybody.
He's going to finesse himself home without a title in New Jersey. But keep going.
Because with both of them now, they're both averaging over 30 points a game, and that's without Kyrie. Now, if Kyrie comes in and he disrupts the chemistry they have now, then I say get rid of Kyrie, and you can get some nice pieces for Kyrie.
But the problem, Justin, is that when you put okay, when you talk about big threes, right?
Mm-hmm.
You talk like let's talk about what was it? Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Kevin Garnett, right? They all knew their role. They knew what it took, and they had a great head coach that brought that together.
Don't disrespect Mike D'Antoni.
No, no, no. I'm not. No, 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 no. I'm talking about Doc Rivers.
Okay.
All right. Then when you talk about big threes, you could talk about Miami with D Wade, LeBron James, Chris Bosh, right? You also had Pat Riley teaching Eric Spoelstra to deal with these personalities, and eventually made Eric Spoelstra one of the better head coaches in the league to this day. But each of those three guys knew their role. All three could defend. All three knew, hey, when crunch time came, the ball's going to LeBron. Just get out the way, and he'll figure it out, and he'll get it to the right person at the right time. And it worked. When Steph, Clay, and KD came together, and you had Draymond as well, it worked because everybody knew their role. But KD got in his feelings late because of some things that were said, whatever. But when you win titles, two of them, as I, might I add, and then even before KD got there, you still won one. So in that Warriors dynasty, you won 3 titles in 5 years. So to me, and you also had a great head coach that, hey, buy into this, know your role, make this work. Okay. Now you look at this big three, you don't have a coach. The coach is Steve Nash. When Nash was the coach, when Nash was a basketball player, he never played defense. He never concentrated on defense. Defense was not his specialty. Shout out to Sean Marion, because Sean Marion used to say all the time, I cover up for Steve Nash's mistakes. Okay, and Amari Stoudemire. And, oh, by the way, Amari Stoudemire is one of the assistant coaches, which makes it even worse because he don't play defense. So you're telling me you're going to put 3 guys that don't play defense, that just want to shoot. None of them have leadership, like halfway average leadership capabilities. None of them know how to defer. And all 3 of them are head case. It's not going to work. In the playoffs, when teams are going to start locking in, i.e. Miami, because I can see it happening now, when they play the Miami Heat, they're going to struggle.
But 2 of the 3 players have played on championship super teams.
But, okay.
So they know how to play a role. And if you've seen the last couple of games, Harden has turned into a passer. He is actually dishing the rock out. He's not ball hogging like he had to do in Houston. Now when Kyrie comes in,
the same nonsense he did in freaking Houston. He started out the same exact way when he got to Houston. The same way. I'm sorry. James Harden can say what he wants. He had an opportunity with Dwight Howard, Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook. Yeah. He had some opportunities. And guess what? Squandered them all. I'm sorry. And faded to black in the playoffs. James Harden is not that good in the playoffs. He might give you one good playoff game, and after that, bye, peace, I'm back in the strip club. I'm sorry. I don't trust this team at all. I just don't.
Before getting James Harden, they were one of the top 3 to 4 teams to win the East coming into this year with just Durant and Kyrie Irving. You add a MVP caliber or MVP past MVP player to a team that's already favored to win the East. All they got to do is make it to the finals, and they're going to play the Lakers. And you're saying that this team doesn't have a shot with a big three to take
No,
out a big two Laker team?
no. And I'm again, think about this for a second, okay? Out of the three, who's going to take the last shot?
You have options. Many teams don't.
This is true. But you also trade, and I'm gonna go another step further, right? Every team, every great team has to have a defensive stopper, right? They don't have one. They traded their best defensive player away, and he's out for like indefinitely right now due to the mass on his kidney, Karis LeVert.
Mm-hmm.
That was your best defender. And now you don't even have a great on-ball defender at all. All you got is you know what your lineup right now is Jeff Green, Kevin Durant, Kyrie, James Harden, and Joe Harris. All shooters. Nobody can defend. Jeff Green hasn't defended anybody since Georgetown. I'm being honest. I don't see this working. I think they struggled with Giannis and the Bucks in the 7-game series. I also think they struggle with Miami because Miami's going to throw some crazy stuff out there, and they're going to cause too many issues for them. I just don't see it working.
We'll have to see. We'll have to bet another link of Buddha on that one.
I'm willing to bet another case
I'm,
on
I'm,
it.
I'm still waiting on my last.
All right, we'll once we find out who wins the offensive rookie of the year, it'll be on your doorstep.
All right.
All right. So one of the last topics we're going to get into on the NBA front. Steph Curry is only 13 3-pointers away from passing Reggie Miller on the all-time greats list, only behind Ray Allen in terms of 3-point shots. Is he the greatest shooter of all time?
The greatest 3-point shooter?
Yes.
I mean, technically, yes. This guy can really throw it up from anywhere, half court, quarter court, anywhere. And it's going to go in. Is he my favorite? No. I mean, my favorite of all time to watch shoot a 3-pointer was Reggie Miller. This guy was a specialist. You know, like he didn't drive it to the rim. He just stood back there and waited for the rock and shot that three. And he was my favorite to watch because at any point, if you remember the Knicks game where they came back from 7 down with 20 seconds left because they just kept feeding the ball to Reggie and he kept shooting that three. And to me, he's my favorite 3-point artist ever. But technically, I mean, Steph Curry, I mean, he is a beast that's never been created before. No one has seen anything like him. And his form doesn't even seem right. The way he shoots the ball is just like he's throwing it up, literally throwing it up, and it goes in. So, I mean, at the end of the day, when his career is over, he will be by far the greatest 3-point shooter to ever play the game. But he would never be my favorite to watch.
Whoo! So, I love Reggie Miller too, right? But man, when you see Steph, I gotta say yes. And here's why. I love Steph because what Steph has done for the league in terms of changing the atmosphere and how you draft players and how you guard players and how you have to guard the 3-point line and how important the 3-point shot is. Steph changed that. Like, because of Steph, there's no more true big men in the league. Reggie Miller was a great shooter, but he ain't Steph. And I'll say this: Steph is, in my eyes, the best shooter of all time. But Clay is so close to him.
Wow,
I
really?
think this is just my opinion, and I look at jump shooters. Steph be throwing up shots, and they go in. Clay's form is way better,
Yeah.
and Clay has a better shot. But Steph, you could tell like he shoots it like 1,000 times, and that's why it falls. Whereas Clay actually shoots with good form. Steph will be one of the best shooters to ever. When he retires from the game, he'll be the best ever. He'll probably surpass Ray Allen easily. Um, and then when Clay comes back, Clay's going to get on his tear, and he'll probably either be right at where Reggie is, or might be set. Like it might be Steph, Ray, then Clay. But in the end, I love Steph, man. Steph never ceases to amaze me. He makes defenses guess. Like, is he going to shoot? Are we going to deny him the three? Because if we deny him the three, we're just going to give him a layup. But if you give him any kind of room, that's all I'm going to say. No. The right way. Sad, but it's true. All right. So, final topic of the night. As you guys already know. Oh, go ahead, Justin.
No. Well, are you excited about the UFC fight this weekend? McGregor's back on the card.
Very. Dustin Poirier is a Louisiana native. Shout out to Northside High School, Northside High School alum, fighting against probably one of the best UFC fighters still remaining in the UFC, and Conor McGregor. Last time they fought, I mean, he torched Dustin. Like, it was bad. It was ugly. I personally think that, and there's added incentive for Conor McGregor, because if he wins, he gets to fight Khabib Nurmagomedov. So there's a lot going into this fight. I really want to see Conor and Khabib one more time, but I have this funny feeling that Dustin Poirier is going to pull off the upset, and he's going to shock everybody because his game has matured so much over the past couple fights. But I hate to say it, the UFC's got to set up for McGregor and Khabib one more time. I got Conor winning, but it's going to be it's going to be by decision. Poirier is going to give a good fight, though. It's going to be a damn good fight. But don't be shocked that Poirier comes out like swinging for the fences, trying to pull the upset off himself.
All right.
So let's go ahead and get into our shout-outs, Justin. Go ahead.
Well, shout out to the whole NBS, crew. We just started this new streaming service. We're off of Zoom. We're now on StreamYard. I love the new set. What do you think about it, Jasper?
Absolutely love it.
I'm just happy to be back. I'm happy to see you back. I'm glad to be back on the show. Shout out to all of our armed forces guys out there. Shout out to the frontline people who working during COVID. I'm still getting over COVID. I'm still got a little cough. So that stuff is rough. Please be safe out there. Wear your mask when you can. Social distance is important. Shout out, today's the last day of the Trump administration. whether you voted for Trump or you voted for Biden, you still have to be happy about the accomplishments of this administration and look forward to the accomplishments of the next administration.
Yeah.
You know, whether you're Democrat or Republican, we're all American, and you have to root for your president, whether he's the person you like or not, because your president's success is our success, and we you know, we're all in this together. And whether you voted for Biden or not, I'm going to pray for Biden. I hope he does well. I hope he does well for our country, because his success is our success, like I stated earlier. So, you know, shout out to Biden. Tomorrow's is a inauguration. I hope everything goes smoothly. I hope for a peaceful inauguration. I hope for no stupidity. Um, I got one other shout out. We have our first woman ref, Sarah Thomas, who's going to be refing in the Super Bowl. It's a big accomplishment this year in women in the NFL or in football in general. We had our first kicker to ever kick in big time college football, and now we have our first woman refing in the NFL. So a lot of things are
Oh,
happening.
don't forget about Becky Hammond. Now she coached. She coached the game. She coached the game first time.
Yes, yes, yes. We've had first coaches in the NBA. We have women coaches, assistant coaches in the NFL now. So women are uh, really making an impact in men's sports, and I'm all for equality. So I love seeing um, everybody be able to succeed. Everybody have the opportunity to succeed. Everyone should have the same opportunity. So big shout out to her, and congrats.
Man, shout out to our first line defenders, of course, everybody overseas, our military, all of those out there, um, you know, you know, paying that ultimate sacrifice. Those who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our lives. Shout out again to our first responders. Um, um, I want to send a special shout out to my family, man. We've been going through some rough ones, some rough times. We had, for those who don't know, I lost my grandmother Christmas Day, and then turned right back around. Maybe last week, I lost my uncle. Two separate illnesses. But one thing I will say, about our family, and as well as all families out there, through loss comes some level of strength. And, I just want to say, prayers, my prayers to my family, to everybody going through some. But most importantly, just know that there's ways to handle it and there's ways to grieve through it. And just know that, like in my case, family is what makes me stronger, so um, there's that. Shout out to the NBS crew for holding it down. Again, we're on StreamYard. We doing some big things out here, new setups. We're gonna be doing a lot more. Of course, we got some interviews lined up. Not gonna put out some, too many details about that. We're gonna make some major surprises coming shortly. But outside of that, man, hey, I just want to let y'all know, keep rocking, keep having fun. We're gonna keep bringing some hotness. And oh, by the way, I think we coming ESPN. I'm just letting y'all know that now. We coming. So with that being said, hey, for Mr. Franchise, aka thatdude.com, aka Jasper, and my co-host Just Justin, hey, we out. Peace.
And don't forget to watch the Nothing But Sports. Let's talk about it tomorrow night.
Yes.
It's 9 o'clock Central Time. And
Yes.
then we have Chris's show coming on Thursday.
Yes.
He has an interview coming on, so y'all check him out. That what is it? Blue and gold guy, blue and gold dude,
The blue and gold dude. Yeah.
blue and gold dude. Yeah. So we got a lot of things going on, so guys. So check us out almost every night during the week. We have a new show coming on, so check us out. With that being said, y'all have a good night. Peace.